Geki, welcome to my review of Cold Baron, a game by Wolfgang Kramer and Michael Kiesling, distributed in the US by R&R Games. Cold Baron was a game that took me by surprise. I will say it up front that is one of my favorite games from 2013, and that I didn't know anything, absolutely anything about it until I happened to play it at Dice Tower Con in 2014. I have no idea how a game this good, so spoiler alert, it's a very good game, has been ignored and went totally under my radar, and from what I can see from Board Game Geek, most other people's radar as well. It's a game that has few votes, few people own it. Most of the people I talk to don't know about it, and it's surprising, especially considering that Wolfgang Kramer is a very famous and award-winning designer. So I will try to give you an overview of the game and tell you what I think about it. This is the board for a game of Cold Baron. What you will be doing during the game plays over 3 shifts, and at the end of the 3rd shift, whoever has the most points wins, is you will be placing your workers, or miners or whatever, on the board and take the connected action. So far so good, the standard worker placement game with one twist. Whenever a spot is taken, whatever the resource is immediately replaced with another one randomly drawn. We will see what they are. But any player, including yourself, if they want the same space, they can just displace your worker with one more worker and send the other one to the canteen, where you will rest until the end of the round. This way, popular spots will become increasingly expensive. So there are a few different actions that you can take. Up here is money. You simply take 3, 4, 5 or 6 coins. The money is this very bad paper money, but it's the only component that I didn't like about the game, so overall not too bad. Of course, getting 6 is better than getting 3, but sooner or later all the better spots will be taken, and you will have to decide whether you want to go over someone that has the 6 with 2 workers and get a faster way to get money, or just use 1 to get 3, and so forth and so on, and you keep going. Here are contracts. Contracts are the main way to score victory points, and we will see how they work. Whenever you place a worker there, you take the corresponding contract, or you can go here, draw a few cards from the deck. It's 5, I think, choose 1, and put the rest on the bottom of the deck. Here is completing contracts. Whenever you have a contract with the corresponding amount of coal, in this case 1 gray, from then on, this you can see as a little cartwheel symbol. You can take the action of the cartwheel and fulfill all of your contracts with a cartwheel symbol, and the same is true of trains and trucks and horse train chariots or whatever. Here is the elevator of your mine that we will go into in a moment, and these are cards that go into your mine. So let's see what your mine is. Your mine is this player board of yours. Let's see, I can show it to you, yes. And during the game, what you will be doing will be buying cards, and whenever you buy a card, you have to check for the color, but the number of cards. This tile has 2, this tile has only 1. The color of the card, and the background lights or absence thereof. When you place your card in the mine, you will place it on the corresponding side. So this is dark side, no lights on, so it will go here, and you will add 2 brown cubes to this. The reason you want to do this is that, going back to the board when we had the elevator action, each elevator action gives you a certain number of elevators movement, 10, 8, 6, etc. And you will use these to move your elevator any number of spaces. So this is one, but this would be one as well. You stop in front of the code that you want to upload, to load. You use one more action, another action. So 1, 2, 3. Maybe you want to go down one additional step and get also a gray cube. And so you do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and now you want to move them onto your contracts as we saw before. So for example, in this case, it would be one more action and you can complete as many as you want. Why do you do all of this? At the end of the shift, meaning when all of the players have spent all of their workers, you will resolve a scoring. Scorings are majority controls, but they change throughout the game. This is the scoring track and shows you how much different majorities are worth and which ones will be scored in which shift. So everything before the little arrow is will be scored. So at the end of the first shift, you score the first 4. At the end of the second, you score the first 8, and at the end of the game, you score everything, of course. The way it works is you check how many completed contracts you have for each kind, and you add them up. If you have the majority, you get the first big number. If you are second, you get the second one. If you're tied, you split. And you keep doing that. Contracts are secret, so you have to keep an eye on what other people are doing if you want to score majorities. You keep adding points. At the end of the game, you also score points for the number of cards you have in your mine. Plus, you lose points if your mine is not balanced. You want the weight of the mine to be balanced on the left and right side. So this mine is not balanced because I have 2 years and only 1 year. I will lose 2 points for each unbalancing factor. You add everything up, whoever has the most wins. There are a few things that I didn't address, like you can store some cubes if you don't have the contracts at that particular moment, and you pay money beside placing the worker whenever you buy cards, but this is the gist of the game. So, as you may have guessed, there is nothing radically new in Coal Baron. Some people have advocated that the lift mechanism, with the lift going into the mine, you load coal onto the lift, bring it back up. It's a new mechanism, but I would say it's just a rendition of a distance mechanism that is common to many games. You bring goods after producing them from point A to point B. Nothing radically new. And this is true of most other mechanisms in the game. For example, you spend an increasing amount of workers to take actions, but this is similar to other games. It reminds me, for example, of Lancaster, where you use squires to make your knights stronger and beat other knights and take their spot. With the important difference that here, the first person to go there has already taken the action, so you are just taking the action for yourself, not stealing it from someone else. But overall, the feeling of the game is very new. It's refreshing, and it's a solid Eurogame. Especially with Eurogames, I don't agree that you should always look for the new, original, ground-shaking thing. I think that using well-oiled mechanisms, as Coal Baron does, is a way to produce a quality game. It's easy to teach, although the scoring can be a little tricky, but it's a very meaningful game. There is no hidden information, and so everything is laid out for you to build a strategy upon. There is a small exception. When you get your contract cards completed, you turn them face down and only reveal them at the time of scoring. But first, this is something that if you want to change is easily house ruled. And second, it's quite easy to remember what people are doing. You only complete 3-4 contracts tops for each shift, so it's not like you have to take account of hundreds of contracts. While the strategy is one, you try to get majorities in something, the different kind of majorities that you can acquire provide for a very variable game. You can try different strategies and try to win with that. And given the peculiar mechanism of paying more but taking any action, you are never locked out of the things that you need. And it's especially true if you consider that both the factory where you produce your cards with the coal or the contract, whatever it is, the contract source, they both have a spot where you can just go, draw 5 and pick one. And that's really a way to allow you to pick something that is not on the board, and that's both to get what you want and slow down someone else from getting it. It's a game that has a lot of interaction but not much confrontation. You are constantly keeping an eye on what other people are doing because it's a majority game, so you want to stay ahead, and because you have a timing issue. Oh, should I go and take that action now and risk that this other action will be more expensive later, or vice versa? But at the same time, you can never do something to harm someone else. They will always be able to take the actions that they want, so the only thing you can do is optimize your own strategy. The playing pace and the playing time are both very fast. The game's the box states that it runs from 60 to 75 minutes, and I find that to be totally honest and even quite long. Some games can go under an hour if you know how to play, not if you're expert players. I played in a tournament of Colbaron and Dice Tower Con, and both games were orbiting around the hour limit, with basically new players that knew the rules but had not played many games. The theme, while not very exciting per se, you are mining coal out of a mine, not the exciting life, I guess, but comes through very well, and it's interesting because it's a very thematic. You have the lift that, as I said, is just a pickup and delivery mechanism, but works well for the mine theme. You get your cards and you have to balance them, so you have this physicality of the mine that comes into play. And finally, what I really like about it is that they went and made a very good job giving you theme without sacrificing mechanism. There is nothing in the game that feels added on for theme reasons. The efficiency machine is very tight, and it's amazing that this was done without sacrificing theme. I really like it. I am totally baffled that this is not up on the hotness on BGG, or generally not present in discussion about games and about Eurogames in particular. I wonder if it is because major reviewers have not taken it up yet. They should. You should pick up the game. R&R Games, Cole Baron, Wolfgang Kramer, great Eurogame, probably my favorite of 2013. Bye.